Resuming debate, the Honourable Member for Scarborough Centre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will share my time with the member from Halifax. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the opportunity to virtually participate in today's debate on the Budget Implementation Act, as this is an important piece of legislation that I believe we need to pass swiftly in order to deliver much needed support to my constituents of Scarborough Centre. Budget 2021 is an important and transformative plan, and Bill C-30 begins the process of putting this vision into action. It's a vision that recognizes where we are today, not yet through a pandemic that is still causing real challenges for many. And it recognizes the need to be ready for a post-pandemic Canada and begin laying the foundation for an economic recovery that ensures that no one in our country is left behind. In Scarborough Centre, we are in the grip of the third wave. Most of our community is a designated COVID hotspot. Residents are eager to be vaccinated, and with more and more vaccine flowing into Canada every week, thanks to the diligent work of the Minister of Public Services and Procurement, vaccination rates are steadily rising. Vaccinations are a Team Canada effort, and I'm proud of how the federal and the provincial governments are working together. And I'm really especially proud of the hard work being done by our local health authorities and our frontline health workers. It is clear to me, Mr. Speaker, that there is still the need to support small businesses and individual Canadians through this pandemic. My community is one of the small businesses. Drive along Lawrence Avenue East from Victoria Park to Bellamy, and you won't see any national chains. You will see countless family-owned run restaurants, convenience stores, small grocery stores. They are struggling and they still need our help. Budget 2021 answers that call. We will extend the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy and the Canada Emergency Rent Subsidy and lockdown support until September 25th, allowing businesses to keep staff on payroll and pay the rent as the pandemic curtails revenues. We will also improve the Canada Small Business Financing Program designed for small and medium-sized businesses by expanding loan eligibility, increasing loan maximums, and expanding program eligibility. And the budget also continues important support for individuals and families, including by providing up to 12-week additional weeks of Canada Recovery Benefit support and expanding the availability until September 25th. And we are continuing to maintaining flexible access to employment insurance benefits for another year and extending the EI sickness benefit from 15 to 26 weeks. Since the beginning of this pandemic, more than a year ago, our government has been firm in its commitment to all Canadians. We will be there to support you for as long as it takes. At the same time, Budget 2021 looks ahead to a post-pandemic Canada and to laying the foundation for Canada to build back stronger with a recovery that all Canadians can be part of. This pandemic has not impacted everyone equally. While I have been privileged to be able to work from home, many of my constituents cannot. Those with essential jobs or jobs that cannot be done remotely have to keep going into work. They stock our grocery shelves and cook our takeout meals. They sort and deliver our online orders. They expose themselves to a greater risk in the workplace and in their commute to get there. They are lower income and often from racialized communities. COVID has hit these communities harder. The pandemic has also had a greater impact on women. Last summer, at the Standing Committee on the Status of Women, we studied the impact of pandemic on women. We heard how the pandemic has led to women taking on more caregiving responsibilities within the households, and especially the intergenerational households, both for children now doing virtual learning, as well as older parents needing care. One of the key messages we heard was about the importance of access to quality and affordable early learning and childcare as part of any post-COVID recovery. As the first wave of the pandemic receded last summer and people began to return to work, we saw that women who had lost their jobs were not returning to work at near the same rate as men were. One of the reasons is access to childcare, and not all families can even afford childcare when it is available. This isn't just a social issue, it is an economic issue. If our economy is going to return to previous levels and to grow, we need both men and women to be able to choose to participate in the workforce. A lack of access to childcare is a major barrier to labor market access for some Black, Indigenous, racialized, and newcomer women. The words of Armin Yelnizyan, an economist and Atkinson Fellow on the future of workers, really resonated with me. She said, and I quote, "There will be no recovery without a she recovery, and no she recovery without childcare." Let me be clear, really clear. If we don't do this, we are actually voting to move towards economic depression, and not a recession, but a prolonged contraction of GDP by policy design, unquote. So our budget's plan for early learning and childcare isn't just an innovative social policy. It is a necessity for our post-pandemic economic recovery. When women can choose to participate fully in the workforce, it is easier for businesses to access the labor and talent they need to grow their businesses. When I was a mother of young children, as my husband and I were just beginning our lives here in Canada, we couldn't afford quality childcare. I had no choice but to stay home and put off entering the workforce and begin my career in Canada. I cherish the time I got to spend with my boys in their early years. But I want women today to be able to have the choice to make the decision that's best for them. It's their choice, and I support them, whatever it is. But I want them to have a choice. This is a policy whose time has come. Mr. Speaker, we must also recognize the impact of this pandemic has had on our seniors. My riding is home to many long-term care homes, and I always enjoyed visiting before this pandemic. And it was painful to see how they have suffered over the past year. Budget 2021 proposes to invest $3 billion, working with the provinces to develop national standards for long-term care and improve safety and quality of life for seniors in care. I was recently able to announce over $1 million in joint federal provincial funding to help 2 long-term care homes in my riding to improve their quality and ventilation system. This is vitally important funding that will keep seniors safer and healthier as the hardworking staff. I'm so glad to see federal and provincial governments working on this. This is what we owe to our seniors. I hope this cooperation can continue with work to develop national standards. Since we took office in 2015, 25% fewer seniors are living in poverty. And with Budget 2021, we are building on the progress by increasing old age security by 10% for seniors age 75 and over, which will help lift even more seniors out of poverty. And we are also providing needed assistance for our youth who have seen major disruptions to learning during this pandemic. With Budget 2021, we are extending the waiver of interest accrual on Canada student loans and Canada apprentice loans until March 31st, 2023. We will also double Canada student grants and create new training and work opportunities for young Canadians so they gain valuable experience and skills in the workforce. Our youth are our future, and we must support them and set them up with tools and support they need to succeed. I look forward to working with my colleagues to see these important initiatives passed so that our constituents have the support they need to make it through this pandemic and to build back stronger than before. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.